She told us she never dreams. Not once. Not in childhood. Not in sedation. Not under observation. The first time she said it, I marked it as denial. The second time, as low awareness sleep regression. But after 31 consecutive nights of REM scan footage, and every one of them displaying full cycle dream state activation, I stopped labeling. I just watched. Mara's file is clean. No mental disorder, no suppressed trauma, no trace of neural damage. But the dreams the system captures are too consistent, too structured. Not dreams, really. Scenes. Always the same temperature band, same pacing, same 5-minute loop intervals. Perfect, cinematic renderings of events she never remembers. And when I show her the playback, she doesn't even react. She watches herself walking through an unfamiliar house, speaking to people she claims she's never met. She sees her hands holding objects she says she's never touched. A key, a pendant, a notebook with the name Rowan written over and over again. She never blinks, never leans forward, just says again and again, "That's not me. I don't dream." I pulled her EEG logs again tonight. Another REM peak, another flood of neural data. But this time, I noticed something wrong. Not in her, but in the pattern. The waveform matched an archived subject from phase 1, someone who shouldn't even be in the system anymore. Subject 5A, deceased, terminated 15 years ago. A male, mid-30s, diagnosed with memory inversion disorder. The match rate between Mara's REM pattern and his archived cycles is 96%. I ran it 3 times. It's not coincidence. It's duplication. The room is quiet now. She's sleeping. Still, peaceful. The monitor shows dream state. Alpha flow. But I can't stop watching the screen, not because she's dreaming, but because what she's dreaming is something I've seen before. Not in her file, not in the system, but in a corridor long since burned out. A light flickering down the hallway, a door that never opened, and the voice of a man I never met, whispering from her mouth in perfect clarity, "If I stay in her long enough, maybe someone will let me finish." The loop played again tonight. Same dream, same pacing, same closing frame. A door opening just enough to show a light that should have flickered, but didn't. I'd seen it play dozens of times now, every variation a heartbeat away from the last. But this time, I paused it mid-frame. The hallway in her dream, slightly warped, corner tiles chipped, a burned stain across the right wall. It matched something. I dug into legacy REM records, unauthorized. Reached back through the deepest tier Eden wake, still kept offline. And there it was. A sequence from subject 5A, red tagged as irretrievable, but it wasn't gone. It had just been renamed. The file opened slowly. Old format. No encryption, just heaviness. And inside, every detail matched Mara's current REM dream. Not just 1 or 2 visuals. All of it. The dialogue, the breathing rhythm, the way the subject turns left before opening the wrong door, Even the way the subject murmurs the name Lucy while standing still. I played it against Mara's REM from last night. Frame for frame, perfect match. Even the static distortion that flickers at minute 4 was there, like a scar left on the system itself. I shut the file. My stomach turned. I checked her vitals in real time. No sign of REM disruption. Pulse calm, no muscle twitching, no pupil dilation. But the screen showed her trace writing itself, not copying, growing. She wasn't repeating a dream. She was finishing one that didn't belong to her, and somehow, one that had refused to end 15 years ago. I opened her personal memory interviews again. Mara said she hasn't dreamed since she was 8, since a fever, since her brother died. But when asked about her brother's name, she never answers. She always pauses, and her pupils tremble slightly, like she's hearing something the rest of us aren't allowed to access. I reviewed subject 5A's personal data. His name wasn't public, but in the locked notes, only available on admin tier 3, one name came up again and again. Mara, not as a sister, not as a daughter, but as a recurring figure in his final dreams. I didn't tell her, but tonight, when I passed by her room, she turned still asleep and whispered clearly, "He's not finished yet. He needs my head to stay open." I tried to block it. I wrote a masking loop into her REM buffer, a silent override, clean, non-invasive, nothing aggressive, just a static field meant to break trace continuity. It didn't hold. On the first night, the trace paused. Mara twitched once, like a reflex, then the REM restarted. Stronger, faster, clearer. The second night, I tried to intercept the stream in real time, reroute it through a monitoring filter before it hit storage. But the playback crashed, and when I checked the system, the stream had already backed itself up onto another node, not Mara's, mine. I hadn't logged that location. I hadn't made that directory. But inside it, my name was listed as Observer Host, Temporary Echo. I opened the feed. It wasn't just Mara dreaming now. I was in the dream, not my body, but my voice, saying things I hadn't said. Yet, "We have to go back to the room with the carpet," my voice said. "The red one. She left the book there." I paused the feed. In Mara's earlier dream, there had never been a red carpet. No book, no voice. Now it was there, and the book had my initials on the cover. KDK, that's not supposed to happen. I'm not traceable. I'm staff. The system shouldn't be able to integrate me into a subject's REM unless something was being reconstructed. I pulled the backup logs from 5A corrupted. Half of them blacked out. But one line stood out. If the memory finds something new to attach to, it will adapt to survive. I wasn't deleting the dream. I was feeding it. Every attempt to disrupt its structure made it more stable. Every file I opened gave it more detail. Every minute I thought about it gave it shape. At 3:17, I received a system message. No sender, no header, just Stop remembering him. You're making it worse. I looked up. The feed showed Mara asleep, still peaceful, but her mouth was slightly open, whispering something. I turned up the gain. It wasn't English, not any known language, but the waveform pattern, it matched a buried vocal loop from subject 5A's final session. When he coded, the loop had been marked as corrupted breath noise. But it wasn't noise. It was language written for sleep. Language that only lives in REM. And Mara, she was now fluent. I stopped trying to block it. Every time I did, it grew clearer, sharper, hungrier. I thought I was protecting Mara, isolating her, sealing off a contagion. But the dream didn't need her. It needed a mind, any mind, and I had given it mine. On the last night, I reviewed her REM feed one final time. The hallway again. The same one from subject 5A. The light at the end no longer flickered, it pulsed. Like a signal, like an invitation. The door at the far end wasn't closed anymore. It had never been. I watched Mara walk through it, slow, unafraid, and inside she found me, or a version of me, sitting on the floor, tracing something on the wall with my finger. I leaned closer to the screen. The drawing wasn't random. It was a symbol from 5A's earliest recordings, one we never decoded. I checked the mirror above the terminal. My face was there, but it wasn't synced to my movements anymore. When I blinked, it didn't. When I breathed, it smiled. I turned away. The room behind me dimmed. The system pinged. Observer 14A status changed. Echo detected. My admin panel disappeared. Logs auto-cleared. My access revoked. The terminal ran without me. And when I tried to speak, the microphone refused to respond unless I said his words. I whispered, "This isn't my voice." The system answered, "Then why do you keep saying it?" I stood. My knees trembled not from fear, but from alignment loss. I could feel the REM pattern forming inside my own skull now. Not from sleep, from contact. I ran, but every hallway led back to the room. Not the lab, the room in the dream. The one with the red carpet, the book, the drawing. And Mara, now standing over me, watching me write symbols I'd never learned. When I looked up, her eyes weren't hers. They weren't even awake. I finally understood. She had never been the dreamer. She had been the medium, the vessel, the mouth that stayed open just long enough for someone else to finish breathing. I backed away. The world tilted. And in the final moment, I saw a new prompt flash on every screen in the facility. REM cycle complete. Host 14A acquired. Now searching for the next one who doesn't dream.